brother. Before they were headlining WrestleManias and racking up title reigns, some of WWE's biggest stars were just happy to be part of the show, even if that meant blending into the background. Take WrestleMania 30, for example, where Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Alexa Bliss showed up as a part of Triple H's gold-masked entourage, serving regal decoration instead of suplexes. Or WrestleMania 22, where a pre-pipe bomb CM Punk played one of John Cena's gangster henchmen right into the ring like an extra in The Sopranos the musical. Every legend has to start somewhere. Sometimes that somewhere is anonymous backup. I'm Senior Siete for 7 Wrestling. Let's take a look at 7 WWE wrestler cameos from before they were famous. Number 1, Denied. Ken Kennedy was everything a WWE star should be. He's got the size, the look, the mic skills, and the uncanny ability to make a crowd care about him, and yet he couldn't stop tripping over his own momentum. One week he's Mr. Kennedy, the rising star with a witty catchphrase. The next, he's having wellness issue problems and getting backstage heat. Fans saw potential, WWE saw potential, but Ken saw, well, apparently an opportunity for self-sabotage. He had the tools to be a main event player, but instead became a cautionary tale. Talent isn't enough when you keep shooting yourself in the foot. And ironically, his opportunities were getting shot down long before his debut. During a 2003 episode of SmackDown, he was planted in a segment as a fan who desperately wanted Brock Lesnar's autograph, which led to Brock totally ignoring him so he could sign the chest of a woman to Kennedy's right. Well, can't say that I blame him. And fun fact, that segment featured 3 future Money in the Bank winners. You got Brock Lesnar, Ken Kennedy, and this guy. Number 2, stand in the place where you work. Now let's talk about one of the most gloriously absurd moments in WWE when Shawn Michaels was frustrated that Eric Bischoff didn't think the new generation of DX was quite controversial enough at Cyber Sunday 2006. He was livid. He said he was the guy that screwed Bret Hart in Montreal and that Triple H had literally married what's-her-name. DX, they didn't know about controversy? Well, I'll show him. To prove his point, Michaels asked a backstage worker for his name, and when the fella introduced himself as Stan, he was promptly floored by sweet chin music, followed by Michaels hitting the classic line, "See? I just kicked Stan." Oh, and for you kiddos out there, this was back when a super kick was capable of actually hurting someone. That unfortunate guy Stan wasn't just any extra, he was actually the future Ty Dillinger, also the future Shawn Spears, long before the ring entrances, the 10 chants, and the legit dark horse status. Now, imagine being Spears. You show up at WWE, hoping for your big break, and your big moment is being an anonymous extra who gets super kicked on live TV. Congratulations, you made your debut face first into the Super Kick Hall of Fame. I mean, not as good as the Shelton Benjamin Super Kick, but it's up there. Oh, and speaking of Shawn Michaels, Number 3, Deuce dropped. Deuce and Domino were basically a tag team of Rydell High rejects, leather jackets, slick hair, rockin' and rollin' and whatnot. Their tag team shtick screamed 1950s diner leftovers mashed into a wrestling gimmick that nobody asked for. The promos, awkward. The matches, Only thing, honestly, that saved the whole act was Cherry, who I will admit to totally having a thing for Cherry. Here's a fun fact. Deuce was actually Sim Snuka, the son of WWE Hall of Famer and controversy magnate Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Now, Deuce's biggest contribution to the WWE wasn't winning the SmackDown Tag Team titles or any kind of memorable feud. No, it was playing a cameraman during the iconic WrestleMania 25 match between The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. The spot, Undertaker dives over the top rope, the cameraman's supposed to catch him and smooth sail into history. Instead, the angle went sideways. Deuce, the incognito cameraman, missed. The Undertaker took a horrific fall, and the WWE's faith in Deuce went boom. Is that fair? Maybe not. It was kind of a complicated spot. Fortunately, Taker wasn't hurt too bad and continued to go on to have an all-time classic with Michaels. Deuce and his greaser gimmick, had some fun moments, but that awkward cameraman crash overshadowed everything. If you're gonna be in WrestleMania lore, maybe make sure you're not the guy everyone blames for a fall that could have crippled a legend. Number 4, Sky Spotting. WWE skits are pretty hit or miss, but they knocked it out of the park with anger management. Sounds like the setup for a terrible skit, Kane and Daniel Bryan screaming about their feelings, but somehow it became comedy gold. Bryan, the grumpy technical genius, Kane, the literal demon who once set people on fire, turned therapy sessions into must-see TV. The chemistry was ridiculous in the best way. Best has got to be Kane calmly discussing his childhood trauma like it was a normal dinner conversation. This odd couple tag team not only gave Bryan the platform that turned Yes into a movement, but also made Kane relevant again. After years of tombstones and fiery promos, the Big Red Machine finally showed he could be funny, intentionally. Team Hell No wasn't just a gimmick, it was a rare WWE experiment that worked so well, it made both guys hotter than ever, emotionally and professionally. And if you look carefully, you can see none other than former AEW TNT champion Scorpio Sky as Harold. Maybe he was so angry because he's never featured on TV anymore. Before we move on, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoyed this video, please do us a solid, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and best moonsault ever, that notification bell. Number 5, Amy of the Night. The Godfather is the perfect example of Attitude-era lunacy. You got the pimp hat, the cane, the gold chains, and the infamous Ho Train parade into the ring. I'm sorry, I'll never do that again. The gimmick, he'd enter with a gaggle of hoes who were actually models, up-and-coming female talent, and the occasional adult entertainer, and he'd encourage his audience to light up a fatty for that pimp daddy, then he'd splash his opponents in the corner with his signature move. Now let's talk about the day Lita, Amy Dumas, stepped onto those tracks. On the July 5th, 1999 episode of Monday Night Raw, she made her WWE debut as one of those hoes for The Godfather. And weirdly, there were only 2 hoes that night, so less of a full-blown train and more like a little kiddie trolley. Must have been a weird spot for Lita, an actual future main eventer, playing second fiddle in this eyebrow-raising entourage. Suddenly, the wrestler is part of the decor, fluttering behind a man who treats the ring like Vegas strip night. It's got to be like one of those actresses who gets cast like in a Game of Thrones amore scene. Hooray, I made it to the big time, but I'm just going to be a naked body in the background. The irony, the woman who'd go on to Team Extreme screaming "Let's go" from the top rope started out as someone's valet buddy in a pimpy parade. Wrestling logic. She hopped off the trolley, kicked the door open, and vaulted straight into history. And compared to her other entry, she got off easy. Number 6, Table for One. Victoria has got to be one of the most underappreciated stars in WWE history. She wasn't just a wrestler, she was a powerhouse, blending agility, strength, charisma in a time when the women's division didn't get nearly enough respect. From dominating matches in the ring to helping elevate others around her, Victoria consistently delivered, yet her contributions often get overlooked. Let's be honest, if Sharmell can snag a Hall of Fame induction, Victoria absolutely deserves a spot too. Her legacy, influence, and sheer talent make her a no-brainer candidate for wrestling immortality. And her intro to the big time wasn't exactly an easy one. Like Lita, Victoria got her start as one of the hoes attached to the Godfather's entourage. But despite being green, she got handed one of the harshest bumps of her career. On the August 7th, 2000 episode of Monday Night Raw, Victoria was powerbombed through a table by the Godfather's repackaged persona, Goodfather. That moment reads like the opposite of glamour. The leader of the hoe train suddenly disembarks mid-ride, and Victoria got stuck through shattered wood in front of millions of people. Well, how bad could it be? Let's take... Oh my God. Okay, never mind. That was rough. On Lillian Garcia's Chase and Glory podcast, Victoria would say, "I saw Godfather at, I think, WrestleCon," and he goes, "I just want to say, I'm sorry for that powerbomb. It still comes to haunt me, you know. Like, even when I came backstage, Undertaker goes, 'Man, what did she owe you? Like, did she owe you money?'" It's wild to think the woman who later stunned the women's division as champion started out getting used as part of a pimp gimmick and then promptly flattened. But hey, if you're gonna ride the train, you better hold on tight. Number 7, what a man. Let's face facts, when your entrance theme is a synthesizer break and you spin around the ring like you're auditioning for Breakdancer of the Year, you might not be destined for greatness. That was Mark Young, the adopted son of the legendary Chief Jay Strongbow, plastered into house show purgatory and made to hop around the ring while Barry Horowitz carried the match like a pro. Horowitz, the enhancement talent extraordinaire, did everything he could, the whole old school routine, as the audience mostly treated the match like filler before the main card got back on track. When Young finally wins via top rope twisting sunset flip, the pop was polite at best. Young showed flashes, sure, but this match kind of shone a spotlight on how not ready he was for anything more than opening match talent. In fact, this would be a wholly uneventful evening at the Rochester War Memorial if it wasn't for who was the referee for that match, none other than a young fella being billed as Shane Mann, who you probably know better as the guy who loves to jump off of high things talking about Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon. And he did a fine job serving as a ref, probably because he didn't have to throw any awful punches. Well, there's our list. Can you think of any other WWE wrestler cameos from before they were famous? If so, please let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and super kick that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling saying bye-bye.